Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Mama Tales, a podcast on our collective journeys into motherhood. It's currently 6:15 a.m. on a Friday morning. And if anyone saw those Insta stories, I am awake watching the Olympics. I'm one of those people who's a nutter for these things. Like, I wait for them. Like last year, I was very, very disappointed that they didn't happen because of the pandemic. So I'm very glad that they're on there. And since I usually wake up in the morning anyway to work, what better backdrop this past few days that I've had than watching athletes compete. And now, today, Friday 30th July, the athletics competition has started, which is the creme de la creme of the Olympics for me, because at least that's where we perform at, and that's where I see the athletes in their individual selves just doing the utmost best at what they do, because I can't do anything close to what these guys do on a regular. So I'm enjoying that. So as I'm recording this podcast, I am watching female runners run the 100-meter heats, I guess, and I can't wait for that final. But anyway, enough geeking about the Olympics. I just wanted to set the mood about where I am and how I'm feeling this beautiful morning. So this week we'll be picking up from Linda's story from the last episode. If you haven't listened to episode 7 yet, it might make sense to just hit pause here. Go listen to that first before you come listen to this episode, so that you just don't feel lost. Personally, I have exciting news. Well, at least for me, it's exciting. Hopefully for you too, it is. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have noticed a few things. One, this podcast finally has its own page and identity. You know, since this started as an off-cut thing that I would occasionally do, everything Mama Tales has essentially lived in my own personal Instagram, more specifically my Instagram stories. So when I finally turned it into a podcast, I really struggled with the idea of giving it its own identity and space, because I know it will be a lot of work, some of which I might not be that up to. Like, it's going to be totally out of my comfort zone. But long story short, I came to the realization that Mama Tales is no longer that off-cut thing that I occasionally do. I really do care about this platform and the voice that it's giving a lot of us. And the conversations that take place here are so beautiful. I love how vulnerable it is. I love how truly honest it is as well. And I think it's a disservice, rather, for me to kind of like tie it down and not let it grow. And then to kind of just add on that, the second thing is that I also made a website for it. So you can find that on mamatalespodcast.com. So I've been enjoying making that site. So the thing about the site is that, so I already had one, which was on the bio of my page. You could see that, and it was done automatically by Buzzsprout, because that's where I host this podcast. But then, like, I decided to go out on a limb and actually make a proper online web home for this site and everything else that comes from it. It was so much fun to build. I'm not a designer in any shape or form, so Squarespace helped out a lot. I don't know if a lot of you guys have used that, but for me, I love them. It's my second site using Squarespace, and it's still a work in progress. I haven't necessarily finished it, but the most exciting part of it is that I had to do a photo shoot to kind of, brand it, because just coming out as a voice behind this mic. I was so nervous about this photo shoot because I can't remember ever doing like a solo shoot ever. And then like the last one that I did was for my wedding, which was in like 2019, and it was like, a proper expected thing. So so the thing with me is that I'm very particular with, well, not really particular with how I look in photographs, but one thing is that I know I prefer myself without my glasses. But as a person who's worn glasses every single day for the very longest time, I think I started wearing them in class 5. Every time I take them off, I feel like I'm naked. I don't know if a lot of you guys feel that way, at least guys who wear glasses and really depend on them. Like, if you take them out, you can't see anything. That's me. You can't see shit. Like, you might as well be lost. But I like my big, beautiful eyes, and I wanted to like have them out there. And the only time which I feel a bit comfortable is if I have a little bit of makeup on. Just the slightest, so that I just kind of cover up like the dark circles under my eyes. I think that come from wearing long-term use of glasses. So what I did instead of hiring out makeup is that I took this shoot opportunity to learn how to do my own makeup. So I have a very weird relationship with makeup. Growing up, no one around me ever had makeup. My mom had the occasional lipstick here and there. And it was one of those, do you remember those green ones? But then when you apply it, it appears red for some reason. Yeah, that's that's the makeup. That's all I had. And I think I used to just draw on walls, unfortunately, with that. And then I've only had two proper face beats in my life. So the first one was in Nigeria, and I'd gone on a work trip with some of my colleagues, and me and a friend of mine were in a laundromat doing some laundry, and we started chatting up this lady through her child. Her child was playing around us through her child, and then she told us she had just that week, I remember, just quit her job to pursue her passion, which is makeup artistry. So she just asked us if we wanted to be models for her newly founded Instagram page, and we were like, why not? There's nothing we're doing. So we got a proper face beat. And if anyone has seen Nigerians with makeup, they do not play. I sent my mother that picture of my face, and she was so confused as to why I was sending her a random person's picture, and only identified me through my teeth. That's the only way she knew who I was. Anyway, so the second time I did a proper face beat again was for my wedding, and I don't even think that was a lot, because I remember telling the makeup artist just not a lot, just enough to again go out into the world without my glasses. So this time I wanted to do it for myself, because the look I wanted to achieve is one that I've always desired to have when I put on makeup, which is look like I have put nothing at all, nothing, and still feel very confident without my glasses. Because I think what I was going out for in the shoot was just me. It's very approachable me, very comfortable, very fun me, because that's who I am. I don't want to hide behind anything. And even in the pictures that I took, I'm in sweaters, I'm in jeans, literally everything that you'll always see me with. 100%. If we meet outside, I'm probably wearing one of the clothes that I have in the shoot, because the other thing about it is I tend to wear the same thing for a very long time until they wear out. Yeah, so I just want to feel that trueness to who I am. And so it was so amazing creating that look. I shot a video of me attempting it for the very first time that I think I'll share because it was such a disaster. Oh man, so much respect for makeup artists, because that thing is a thing. I cannot, and guys who wake up and do that every day, I'm impressed. I know I can't achieve a lot of these things. It's really blend. It's a lot, but I did it, and I was so proud of myself. So very, very long story short, the shoot was done, the website went live, and I'm so proud of it. Yeah, if you haven't already, please check it out. Also, I think the point of this entire rant, or even just putting all this stuff out there, is that I think I'm at that point in my life where I no longer want to hide behind my own fear and doubt that nothing I do really matters. Mama Chills matters, and I want to treat it like something that actually does. And so do I. I matter, and the things that I love doing matter as well. So over the next couple of weeks, I hope I can show you that, bring you closer to understanding me and the things that I absolutely love and treasure, and I'm excited to share. Hint, hint, it goes far and beyond this podcast. And I think a lot of the people who are close to me already know some of the things that I am into. And I think the idea is to just bring you into my life of just trying to learn these things, because again, as with this podcast and how I talk about motherhood and all that, I'm nowhere near an expert. So I'm not out here to give, do this, do that. Nah. I'm just hey, this is what I'm trying, and this is how it's going, kind of thing. Listen, I think I'm almost turning 30. I know I am almost turning 30, and I just want to make sure that I don't leave anything behind in terms of at least self-development. I want to give myself the best shot at happiness, do the things that I want to do, the things that I know will give me joy, which I think is the best shot at happiness. And that's ultimately what matters. What's the point of life if you're not happy, So, anyways, go check out these platforms that I have mentioned here. So that's Mama Tales Podcast on Instagram and mamatalespodcast.com. So, on to Linda's story. This will just be like a short conclusion to her story. I didn't want to squeeze it in the last time because I think that episode was already quite long and quite heavy, and we kind of needed time to internalize it and really feel what she feels and understand the kind of space she was then and the kind of space she is now, which is, I think, what this next part of the story does. It brings us to where she is right now. And I am so happy that Linda decided to take the time and share her story with us and be as vulnerable as she was. So let's pick up the story from there. If you need a bit of a recap, I think we had just left off when she was talking about like all the silly remedies that people were giving her about her son's delayed speech, and the kind of disappointment that she felt that maybe she did something wrong, which it turned out that really nothing was wrong all along, and they just needed to engage him in a different language, which was what he was used to. So we'll just pick it up from there and get to hear where she's at now, the space she's in, and conclude her story.
Usually say don't always put pressure on the child also to have to fix them in a schedule. I don't feel like sometimes it will not work. So one day your daughter is 4-5 years old and you need her to sleep at 8:30 and she won't. She'll sleep probably 11:30. And then, when they grow up, they'll wait for their fathers. So if your hubby is coming in late, utapata tu haezi lala unless the father is there. So you go to bed tired, let's say 11:30 midnight. If you don't have a nanny, means you'll wake up probably 6, but tired, very tired, because your daughter needs you, your husband needs you. Then there's just that breakdown. You feel like you just wake up and you like the day just ended. You didn't shower, you didn't eat, you didn't brush your teeth. There's so many days of that that will come. But let me just tell you, it's so normal not to take a shower the whole day. You're going to take a shower usiku watu wamelala. You're all alone, you're the one taking a shower, mpaka you're like, hey, hata majirani they'll shanga who's taking a shower at midnight. It's that time that has come, it's that gap that you've got, to take that shower, take it. You didn't brush your teeth, fine. It's your daughter. She can't tell you, oh, mama, your teeth are smelling. Be like that. You brush them when the time comes. You'll be in your sweatpants or some very baggy pants or something in a very weird jumper, looking like crap. And you would look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, okay, me, I don't know about you, but me, I look at myself and say, hey, I'm ugly. Like, you don't find anything attractive and you feel like crap, and you feel if you're looking at yourself in that manner, you can imagine your hubby. He's going to work, leaving you look like shit, and he'll come back, you looking like shit, and he's thinking, what happened to the fabulous lady we were quoting, and lip gloss, a bit of lip gloss and a bit of lip liner. What happened? Me, my hubby usually will tell you sometimes when maybe he has a glass or two of wine, he will tell you, I said, babe, umejiachilia. And I'm like, Instead of telling me that, you should just go around and ask me why nowadays I'm tired. Just find a way of trying to get to know why Kwanzaa. It all resulted to me not taking a shower, to me not brushing my teeth. I would put my hair up in one style, Sally, it would go there for a week. Like if I shake my hair in a ponytail, it would be there for a week. And when it gets messy, I think it's even more prettier. And I'm thinking, it's messy, it looks even better. At the end of the day, you look at the results of your daughter or your son growing up and the milestones he has covered or she has covered, and you're thinking, okay, if no one has eyes to see this, then clearly, then I don't know why they're with me.
Yeah, it's worth it at the end of the day.
Myself, yeah, but now the thing is, who has the eyes to see it? To see that, oh, Sally's daughter has like nice hair. She shampoos her hair. She styles her. She's just looking at you like, Sally, your hair. Hey, Sally, your nails. Hey, Sally, your. What about my daughter? You can see she's doing well in school and she's, you know. So the other day I was going to check out schools because my son was he's starting school next month.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what he would put, like he would start with the play group or just go directly PP1. So we were dressing up and then my happy was dressed and then me I was wearing some sweatpants, my best sweatpants and a nice t-shirt. And I said, and then where are you going? I was like, see, we're going for that time. Like that. I was like, hey, me, I have to be comfortable, man. And it's just like 2 hours, 2 minutes drive. I was like, hey, you have to look like someone. I was like, hey, wait, if I go there looking like someone who's very expensive or something, what about those days I'm going to pick him up? So I'm going to pick him up looking like this, sweatpants and a t-shirt and my hair messy, in a messy bun. So we went and he had some interview and they said, oh, leave him with us so we can see like how his skills are, if he knows colors, blah, blah, blah. And the principal came and said, hey, your child is a genius. Like, he knows even secondary colors. He knows trucks and cars. And he doesn't say lorry. He says, Mom, that's a truck. I don't know what a lorry is. That's a truck. And the principal is like, hey, okay. So this one is just a PP1 direct. We at our West Times, do baby class, and I look at my happy to be a Kasema. You see, when I was telling you, so you do this, and I was like, hey, now you want us to pat you in the back while Azan was breaking my back. Oh yes, pat him. While mine which was broken because I subscribed to channels, YouTube, buy colors, buy scrapbooks for him. And at the end of the day, it's like, you're your father's son. And I'm like, hey, your father's son. So me here, nimefanya kazi bure. I tell mothers, no one will credit you, no one will give you credit, no one. If it comes out, well and good, take it, run with it. But just tell yourself, I am on the right track. Hey, Sally, you're doing a good job. No one will judge you. If you need a break really bad, take it. But that those days that you won't have the privilege to take a break. When you're a full-time mom like you are, it's you find yourself spending more than your hubby. I don't know if it happens in only my family. I spend more than my hubby. And I would say, hey, this shirt is too small now. Or this trouser is too tight.
Yeah.
I end up you end up going to buy. If you tell him, you say, we'll get him something later. If you tell the dad, he'll say, we'll get him something later. But now you're with him every day and
you're seeing it.
Getting uncomfortable. Yeah, you're seeing it. So you spend much money. So at the end of the day, you can't afford something because your finances are being directed to your daughter. So I will say, don't judge. Don't feel like you're being left behind by your friends or don't feel like that because every other mother also is doing the same thing. Don't say, I can't go for brunch because I don't even have that 1,000 to waste because I'm thinking my car needs fuel, I need to buy diapers, I need to. It is always okay to put your baby first. It is always okay to have limited finances. If you can't go for brunch, if you can go for I don't know, drink with your friends, trust me, trust the process. It will just come with time. But as long as your daughter is there, your son, it's going to get worse. So you just have to you have to equip yourself better than what you're doing now. Yeah, so just find a way around it. That's what I can say. Find a way around it because I'm also finding a way around my son. And there's so many things he's learning. The father does not know, but I don't know how he will know himself in all this, but it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just, what do I say? You just have to, I don't know, just work out, because I used to beat myself up when someone tells me, let's go for a trip to Nakuru, to just 3-day nights. And I'm like, how much? 40,000. I'm like, hey, 40. 40. I don't even have half of that in my account. And someone would be like, "Hi, Linda, how? You don't have savings, you don't have this." I'm like, "Hey, not, it's not that. It's not even that. It's because I'm thinking if I spend this money, I come back home. And when I was working, I was the one with the insurance. So when I stopped working, I didn't have insurance. So I'm paying cash. What happens if I spend this money on 3 nights? I come back home with a 6 run. So I usually say with parenting, you just do what is right for you. If you feel someone's gonna judge you, so go and judge me. But at the end of the day, I know my pocket, I know my finances, I know what I want,
Yeah.
I know what will lead to my well-being. Yeah. So that's what I can tell, or that's what I feel as a mother. Don't feel like your husband is supposed to help you. Just help yourself. Help yourself. He will catch up with you if it was meant for him to catch up, he will. If it's not, just move on, because you'll beat yourself up for nothing. Yeah, cloud nine, Oko. He's feeling like he's doing the right thing. Like you're just throwing tantrums, you're dramatic. So just do you as a mom. If you feel you need help, reach out. Just plan, just do you. Even if you have a husband or wife, your parents, just do you. Help will come on the way, but just trust the process. That's what I can say. Trust the process.
By the way, just to clarify, is your husband to be the baby daddy as well?
Yes. I talked to God and I said, this is what I've dreamt of. Like the father of my child will be my husband.
Yeah.
So if this is something to hold on to, show me how. Give me the strength on how to do it. Give me the grace to understand. So. And also, if it's something that you want God to help you with, it's also up to you to decide to help yourself. Like, put some effort. So if I said he's going to be the one, he's not seeing it, he's not seeing himself as a father, show him, show him, what, this is what we can do. This is what, you have so much greatness in you. You can do it. Don't shun away. People are admiring you that you're a father at a young age. And, you can imagine that you're going to have your son in high school and you're going to be so young. So able to look at the future, and you just nurture, you find the strength of nurturing your child and also nurturing your husband. Because usually they say women are born mothers. Like you're taught how to cook, how to clean, boys are just put there, hunt. Okay, people don't hunt nowadays, but you see, it's not in them. So they have to be nurtured for fatherhood. It doesn't come naturally to them. If someone says that, fatherhood comes naturally, they lie. It's either they have someone they admire, so they say, okay, let me take up the challenge, or it's something they see. Oh, I'm seeing my wife doing it. Sally's doing it so well. Or what is it? What is stopping me from doing whatever Sally is doing? So it's all about nurturing both, nurturing your child, your husband at the same time. You can't do one. You have to multitask. Because if you do one, someone is gonna be left behind.
Yeah, definitely.
And leaving someone behind meaning you repeat the whole assignment, and no one wants to repeat a whole assignment. So you ask me to, it pisses someone off that, hey, man, I have to be your mother and your wife at the same time. I know people ask those questions, but they're men. Just that's how they are. But just take it up, and I usually say, if you are talking to people about your problems, why don't you just talk to God the same way you talk to people? Talking too much about your problems, talk to God also the same way. If you're talking to 10 people, talk to God 10 times a day. Tell him what's happening, just guide me. At the end of the day, he will not do anything wrong, because also they say prayer also will hold your family together. Your praying woman will always find a path for both of you, will always shine a light. So when you're lost, you'll always have the wisdom to say, you know what, Baba so and so, we're not doing this right. Should we do this? Should we not? And you're also bold to say, I think we need a break. Okay, I've done it, so I don't know. I said, I don't feel sane. I need my sanity. Can we take a break? And he would say, why? And I'm like, I don't think I'm sane enough to take care of both of you at the same time. So I need to find myself first. Like I need just to, And if he's a good person, he will say, okay, let me just, check myself. let me search myself and see if I am, I'm contributing to all this stress and everything. And he will just, change gear, and he will come aboard and, say what, okay, I'll be coming home early to assist you with this, or I'll be giving you like Sunday's break the whole day so that you have your time on your own, even if it's just go and sit in town. Do you know, I sometimes go and sit at Uhuru Park, just sit, do nothing. Yeah, so you would go, sit, do nothing, just because you just need. So you needed the time.
Yeah.
You needed the rest.
Always.
You didn't say you want to spend the money. Yeah, so just go, admire, just sit, relax. You're not changing diapers. You're not feeding anyone. You are not planning to put someone to sleep. You're just there. My calls are on airplane mode.
Yeah.
You can't reach me unless someone is dying. Yeah, but no one is dying anytime soon. You guys, you can find someone else. Yeah. So it's something that you should like mold yourself all around. And if you need to say something, say it. If you're tired, Sally, say I'm tired. No one is gonna judge you. You're human. If you say, you know what, even if you went to work, staying at home doesn't mean you're ever resting. Everyone thinks when you're at home, wewe umepumzika sana. Actually, you're even, on vacation. Just you, me, staying at home, I think it's even better going to work. Working in an office, I think. It's too much work, picking up things, cooking, cleaning, calls, you're working, you're online, you're checking on your baby, putting people to sleep. What?
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. And if you need to say something, I usually say it. Usikufe nayo. So I usually say find the strength to do what you want to do. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose your mind. Don't lose your voice. Do it.
Yeah. Like you went through a lot. You went through a lot because I remember. I would remember those notes of like the loneliness that you would feel from like even those days in high school.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember that. So I can only just like even the way you've talked about it, it has just man, I don't even know where you get the strength.
In high school I couldn't reach out because everyone had this kind of style in life, parents, So every time Miss Washira would tell me, share your story. I was like, I can't tell them I'm an orphan. They will pity me.
Yeah.
And if I tell them that, as in, people are going to take it different. There's this one who's going to pity me. There's this one who's going to learn from it. There's this one. But, I was just given, I would say, and I wouldn't want it for any child, given the responsibility at an early age. I took care of myself and I took care of my sister at the same time. And when I left school, I had to find work to pay her school fees so that she can finish her high school. So it was just too much responsibility. And by 18, I was already filing my tax returns. I usually laugh about it. And I'm like, at 18, nilikuwa najua kufile returns, pay bills. And I was going to college at the same time and working night shifts.
What?
So when class ends at 4, I run to my room. I get ready. I maybe fua a few clothes here and there, maybe my lab coat or something. I do my assignments. I take a shower and then I make coffee and then I baby with some KDF because I couldn't afford much. So that KDF would be my supper, and I had to go to work because if I didn't go to work, my sister would be thrown out. Nani would be like fukuzwad from shule. I didn't want that. I didn't want that stigma, and she would start feeling, oh, but just because I don't have parents, I can't manage to pay school fees. So, I didn't want that kind of stigma. So I had to work my ass off.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind. So this whole motherly thing just came from me taking care of myself, my sister, and then having to heal from my parents' death. So it was all at once. Every blow, you just take it. My parents died. My siblings died. We are 2. I have to heal from that. Okay, sawa. Uko high school, you're done. My sister also needs to go to school. I have to find work. You have not healed. You have to take care of her emotionally, physically. You have your period. Sometimes you have your period and you're thinking, period. Though you can use a pad, and sometimes you're feeling, hey, jaja, and you sleep with it, and you get a very bad burn just because you don't have any other for the next day. Yeah. So there were very bad days, which I don't think right now. I'm just, it just made me stronger. So there's nothing right now I would say would just put me out or something start crying. Yes, there are days I would cry, but it's just the healing process would take longer because I didn't have anyone to take care of me. If I did, the healing process would be shorter. But it just didn't. So I was just going to take it up, or I've just grown to be a very strong person, understanding. I have equipped myself, I have educated myself just to understand that this whole thing will just wear out slowly, not fast, pole pole. You see, and when motherhood kicked in, I found the strength in me first, and not the father of my child, in me. That you know what, I can't be a mom, and I will do it.
That story was so powerful. In her conclusion, you can hear the struggle that she faces day to day in trying to find support from her partner. And you know what? This situation is very true for a lot of moms. You find yourself that in as much as you love each other and you care about each other, some things tend to fall through the crack. And what matters to one, for example, for a mother, you're always thinking about your child, might not really matter that much to your partner. And you can feel like in her story, because she kind of started this journey alone, her partner is, we can say, trying to catch up in that way. And then she's also learned how to just do it by herself, because that's how it started. When I was growing up, my mom used to be the one who made the biggest decisions. She would make the biggest moves and 100% think about our care on a day-to-day basis. So my dad used to travel a lot for work, and it was good, at least in the income side of things, because we were able to run a lot of things in the house. But my mom kind of carried the burden of everything else. She was working, she was still earning her own money. The dynamic felt that the children are for the mother, and the dad, you see him once in a while. And I thought that was a very normal thing in each and every family. But that was the dynamic. So I remember my mom being this strong woman who pretty much handled everything, so that even when he died, we were able to move on without skipping much of a beat. In a lot of spaces, moms bear the most burden, and unfortunately, sometimes their partners might not be as keen enough to even notice that this can be a shared responsibility, and all that stuff just becomes heavy on someone. And you can hear a bit of that in Linda's story. All I can say is that she has tremendous grace and strength. And I think a lot of this is also influenced from circumstances in her past that she talked about, and the fact that she's always had to work extra, just harder each and every time to simply keep up. Additionally, with so many moms, you can just even hear the amount of sacrifices that she's had to do for her family, and I think a lot of moms take that decision to step back from their own career paths and life paths to be there for their family. And that is a role that I think is usually taken for granted. I think my husband keeps talking about it a lot. It's such a big thing that a woman does that we cannot take it for granted once it happens. Living your individuality stings, especially if you worked so hard to create it. And I remember we could connect a little bit with Linda on that point, because it was also a journey that I stepped into, and I struggled. I struggled with not receiving my own paycheck at the end of the month. I struggled with trying to find purpose by saying, or even just that confidence of saying, yeah, I stay home with the kids, the one kid, and take care of the house, right? So much so that I felt like I needed to pile on things on myself, but maybe I just didn't have. It's one of the most selfless acts I can think of. I don't think stay-at-home moms just sit and look pretty. It's a never-ending job. Trust me, I have gone through it. I still go through it. But luckily these days I have help. But yeah, it's never ending. There's no stop. There's no time out. In fact, it even reaches a point where even taking time for yourself feels like you're stealing time from your family, and you feel guilty for it. So you don't even enjoy the time that you have. And you can hear that in Linda's story. So again, I'll just say thank you to Linda for telling us her story. So let me wrap up the episode here. Thank you so much for listening to the very end. I appreciate it all the time. Remember, like I talked about earlier in the episode, this podcast now has a home, in fact, 2 homes. So you can please check them out. On Instagram, it's Mama Tills Podcast, and the website is mamatillspodcast.com. If you want to have your story on this podcast, it's really easy. Just let me know. You could either message me directly on Instagram, so that's on Mama Tills Podcast, or on my personal Instagram, Salimugure. Or alternatively, if you want to talk about something else, you can easily reach me on email as well at mamatillspodcast.com. All right, that's the end of this episode. Catch you guys later in the next one. Bye.